Welcome to Zeta Protocol, the Star Wars Galaxy of Hero podcast that's legally distinct from a warning label and spiritually opposed to the phrase, "This should be fine." I'm Egnards, joined by Pico, Nacho Cheese Burrito, and tonight, our favorite pyrophobic black helmeted antagonist rears his shiny metallic head once again. Meanwhile, Conquest launches a corporate OnlyFans account, bringing with it a fan favorite thirst trap from a time long, long ago. With the era of Hold My Beer nearing its close, this is no longer about doing everything. It's about doing the least wrong thing. So pour something strong, hide your crystals, and hit play because the next era won't arrive gently. This is Zeta Protocol. Well, Pico, we made it into the new year. This is our second show of 2026. We're recording a day early because we're both busy folk with lives outside of the game. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm cold, man. I am functionally and fundamentally cold is the only way to describe it. But
How cold is it over
I'm
there?
doing well. So I'm just walking back in. It was about 14 degrees,
Okay.
which means it is now warmer at 8 o'clock at night than it was at 10 a.m. this morning. Uh, I am heading to the Windy City, and when I have to walk from my hotel to the office on Friday morning, it will be negative 10 degrees. Um, I almost canceled my trip.
I will say
So
right now that I just checked and it is also 14 degrees here.
yeah,
So I feel you. But it's not going to be negative 10 degrees where I am tomorrow, which is also here.
yeah,
So it's just going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
regular cold. That's all I have to worry about.
So we're gonna talk in code for a minute, all
Okay.
right? Because Reddit did not let me down this morning, and I'm gonna
Oh
say
boy.
something, and I think you know what's going on. So
Oh boy.
last night, as you may or may not be aware, was the college football national championship. And the Indiana Hoosiers took on the Miami of Florida Hurricanes in Miami, or excuse me, Indiana won. Uh, and through the playoffs, there was a very special Miami football fan that they cut to a couple times in the crowd.
Okay.
Um, she is a very special actress in a very special style of film, is
Uh,
how we will say it.
I think that on Facebook they call them mattress actresses.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So and she got a shot on national television last night.
Hmm.
And of course, Reddit was filled with the post referring to it and the number of people. And it was like, I saw that and told my wife, and I'm like, oh, she's an ex. And the wife's response was, how do you know that? And then the best comment coming out of that was, so I'm now grounded from the internet for 2 weeks. And I just thought that that was absolutely hysterical. So Reddit did not let me down this morning.
I
Uh, and the intro made me think of that, and I thought it was great. So, yeah.
It's funny because I normally come into these things like knowing what I'm during our kind of banter here. I kind of have an anecdote that I know that's going to happen, and I'm excited to tell you about it. And I specifically don't tell you a few days beforehand. And today I was kind
Yeah.
of worried. I was like, I got nothing today. I like nothing's going on. I got nothing. And then something interesting happened. I got home and my wife was telling me, and we've talked about this. We've talked about Quinn before. We've talked about like the audio porn side of like the female thing. And
Yeah.
she kind of does what I do, right? She's a content creator in her own right, and not in that way, but like almost like reviewing that stuff. And she
Yeah.
told me that recently she has been getting really high and reviewing these things, and people love these posts. And a company that makes THC beverages has reached out to her and wants to send her their whole product line. And I'm a little annoyed because where are my sponsorships?
Yeah,
Where,
exactly. Yeah.
where's where's our
What are we
stuff?
doing wrong? Yeah.
We don't get
Yeah.
any free shit. What the hell?
Yeah.
So I'm a
Look,
little
man.
bit pissed off tonight. I'm happy for her, but I'm a little bit pissed off
Yeah.
tonight.
and as Sarah and I found out during the HNN days, uh, trying to advertise for a company that is currently not paying you does not mean they will eventually hear about it and then actually start sending you money. It's like that does not like try to manifest in the world. That's not a thing.
Yeah, I tried that with Toshiba Day. It didn't work. They just ghosted me. And they still get free advertisement because I still talk about them because I believe in that product. But
Yeah, yeah,
maybe I should start holding out.
yes, yeah,
So, man, tonight, it's interesting because normally we record on a Wednesday, and Wednesdays
yep,
usually when we get our patch notes. We're recording on a Tuesday night. We don't have those patch notes. I wasn't really expecting much since we're still in the era of hold my beer.
yeah.
Um, but outside of updates, I do think we have a decent amount of interesting things to talk about, especially with the new Conquest and the changes to
Yep.
Conquest. I know that you have an era plan that you kind of briefly gave me an overview of, and I didn't really want to hear everything about it because then we're just rehashing things. Darth Vader's kit, a few bug fixes that happened tonight, or at least, oh, hey, we see this bug going on. Where do you think we should start?
Let's talk about the Arrow stuff because I think
Okay.
Conquest is a little bit more interesting than what we expected. In the things that are kind of surrounding Conquest, I think is probably a little because we got some data crime changes into
Hmm.
that cadence as well. So
Yeah,
so
there's a lot going on. All right, so let's talk the eras. And now, from what I
yeah,
understand, you had messaged me last week, and we were kind of discussing the strategy for eras, and basically for
yeah,
anybody listening. Look, eras are what they are. I do contend that there are going to be some changes in the next era. There's always something. I can't hazard to guess what those are going to be, but if we are going to say in essence, it's going to be roughly the same, maybe slightly more friendly, but mostly the same. What are you thinking for eras? What is this whole plan you got going on?
yeah. There's a couple things I think it's important to maybe level set a couple of points before kind of talk about what the plan is. And part of
Okay,
it, um, so for the purpose of me, I will be getting like my goal is 7-star the journey guide character at the end. I know
okay,
that's not for everybody, but we'll talk through some of those. But I think that there's a couple of things that I think they're important. And the first is if if you're not planning on taking the journey guide character to 7 stars, there's no point in you doing anything with those characters past level 75. Right.
yeah,
And the reason for this is one, 75 to 80, you can get those resources, but 80 to 85, it's effectively $20 a character.
yeah,
And you need to do so to get the entire roster to 85, it's going to cost you all 6 characters, it's going to cost you 5 packs for $100 is the first piece.
yeah.
The the where I'm looking at it, one and the other piece of that is to hit a couple points. I will not be taking a character past level 85. It makes
Hmm.
absolutely no sense. The cost associated with it is ridiculously high. It effectively becomes, I think it's $100 a character to go from 85 to 95.
Which
And
is
more
disgusting.
importantly, yeah, and more importantly, all that takes you is from relic 3 to relic 6.
Yeah.
And the mats that kind of takes away that you have to apply are not actually the hard mats to get right now.
Hmm.
Like it does not you don't save yourself arrow mags, you don't save yourself IDs, you don't save yourself any of those pieces. So
For the end game
effectively
player,
there's
yeah.
no real yeah, there's no real difference from 3 to 6, I think is the first piece. The the next is I think at least what I've learned and be interested on your thought on this. It feels like the character level needs to match the tier to get there. Like you're not getting to tier 3 with level 25 characters. So you need to be level 30 to get to tier 3 is kind of the way that it seems to be lined up. Is that what you're seeing?
It seems so. This kind of goes interesting. I messaged you today that in a cursory way, there's a bug going on with eras right now with Coliseum. And I don't know if it affects all of the bosses, but it affects the Zepho boss. And in a way, players were getting to tier 8 on the Zepho boss, just regularly playing,
Yep.
um, at a level that I guess CG felt was impossible to do, and they were getting auto banned. Um,
Okay.
and the reason why this is pertinent to what you're saying is that last night I had been sending these ally codes to Meathead over the weekend, and I didn't
Yeah.
expect him to do anything. I was just like, look, dude, like, I got to do what I can do. One of them messaged me last night and he said, you know, I got unbanned. Thank you. Like, it was probably because of you reaching
Yeah.
out. But he also told me something interesting. He said, I don't know 100%, but I'm about 90% certain from looking at my materials and my levels that Meathead took all of my characters from level 69 to level 70. And I think my theory is that the reason that he did that is because there's probably something to do with that era
Yeah.
level where 70 seems to be the cutoff where tier 8 is
Yeah.
possible. Hard, but
Yep.
possible.
Yeah.
And that because there's no fix yet, and maybe there will be in the patch notes tomorrow, but because there's no fix yet, that was the solution, was like, let's just get these guys characters so he doesn't get caught by the filter again.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
terms of level, I don't know if it's exactly 10, but it is somewhere in that realm.
And I think that, and this is where the spend versus non-spend piece comes in, is that when we get a level 1 character, we have 4 characters in the team.
Yeah.
All right. You beat the first tier, they take a character away. And then so they keep taking characters away, and then eventually you keep adding characters back in, and that's where the strength seems to come in. It seems to me that the game is designed around this model, that, or the mode is without spending, is that to beat tier 1 you need to be a 10 to 19 level character. To beat tier 2 you need to be a 20 to 29. And the way you fix that is, or how you get around that is, you can effectively get a tier ahead by spending. All right.
Yes.
But what I think a lot of people found is that a level 75 Luke on the first week doesn't get them really past like tier 3. Like, there's a certain point, like, you can't buy your way out of another level. So what I've kind of come up with is this idea that I'm going to use chapter number. All right. So Luke came out in chapter 1
Okay.
plus 2. So the goal is I want to get Luke to 35. When chapter 2 comes out, so that would have been like IG 90. I
Hmm.
want Luke at, so it's chapter 2 plus 2. So Luke's at 45, IG 90's at 45. And then it is, you kind of just add 10 levels each time you go through, that ultimately you get to tier 8 in the Vader timeframe is where that
Yeah.
aligns. And that
Okay.
that to me seems like, one, you're not overspending, because again, you're going to have to do a little bit of spend to do that.
Yeah.
It's typically going
Of
to take
course.
one pack to make that happen per round. But I think that also probably keeps you in the top 30 if that's what you're aiming
So,
for from
so I
that
guess
side.
that's what I was going to ask next is how concerned are you with the amount of era currency that you were getting? Is there like a minimum where in week 1 your your Luke is level 35 and a bunch of people bring him to 70 and now you're out of the top 30 hypothetically? Are you incentivized to spend further, or you feel like as long as I get 300 I'm fine?
No, because and this goes back to, I think we talked about this a little bit last episode.
Mhm.
Uh, I see no value in Relic 10 right
Yeah.
now. So therefore, I don't have a whole lot of value in era currency.
Okay.
I want to build a stock now. And you rightfully pointed out that there's some value in that currency for the tokens, and using the light speed tokens. So I
Mhm.
get that, because, and again, if you look at the top 10 in my shard, it's me and a guy in my guild. So again, we're kind of both 15 million plus, and then it's a bunch of like 10 or 11 million
Yeah.
players that are fighting there. And yeah, if they're turning those into lightspeed tokens. That makes a lot of sense to me. If they're not, that seems wasteful because look, I we now have an entire GAC season underneath us that had access to Relic
Hmm.
10. It had zero impact.
I will say, I don't disagree with you,
Yeah,
but I will say that I now have 4 Gungans at Relic 10. So clearly, I don't care about my Relic
yeah,
10.
yeah, yeah.
But with this Datacron set and my Gungans at Relic 10, Gungans, fuck. They fuck hard. I leave them on defense, and I have been looking at the defense and the holds, and they have been holding to Jedi Master Luke. They have been holding for Traya. They have been
Yeah.
holding for Bo-Katan. They have been holding for I didn't check tonight. It'll be in tonight's, but somebody told me, I reached out to him. Apparently they held for JMK.
Okay.
Relic 10 Gungans, fuck. But the overall point is clearly I don't
Yeah.
care that much about
Yeah.
Relic 10 if I'm putting them on Gungans. So I
Yeah.
do agree with
Yeah.
the greater point, especially when you think about like Galactic Legends coming up. At a maximum, I think really 1 or 2, but at a maximum, you're going to get 3. And by the time that
Yeah.
comes around, you're going to have plenty of materials to be able to do that.
Yeah. So as long as I'm stockpiling them, I'm good. I I think the other big thing, and I'm seeing a lot of like going on about this is people are trying to push into that north of 75 into 80 so that they can
Hmm.
unlock them all. Uh, it's the Zarek ability mats and need to need people to understand how they're coming into the game because there's a lot of people out that are saying like CG's out to screw them.
Yeah.
Not I wouldn't use that phrase, but so and it's a little interesting the way that they're doing this. So Zarek's come in the first 4 characters. If you took them to 6 stars, you could get 35 total Zarek's over the
Hmm.
course of the week because it's 5 per day, 7 day. Yeah, so 35
So
total
very
Zarek's.
small amount of them. Yeah.
Very small. It's not enough to get you any place. If you took them up to 7 star day one, you could do 70. When when Barris came into the game, they moved Zarek's into the reward box one earlier. So at 5 stars,
Yeah.
you could get 30. At 6 stars, you could get 40. So you could potentially get
Hmm.
70 because for the people that are trying to get the character to 7 stars by the end of it, you could get 70 at that point. But the big one is when Vader comes out next week, he's dropping 230 for a 5 star character.
Yeah.
So like
You're getting them.
I'm watching a lot of people stress about like I can't get my characters to 85. How am I going to do this? It's going to be then. Like as long as
Yeah.
you're there, you're going to be able to get those
The
modules.
Zarek materials, they are like the red herring, I feel like.
Yeah,
I played most of these eras with my characters fairly low. And then somebody who I help out a lot reached out to me and essentially bought me all of the era characters. So
yeah,
I am blessed in that way and first world problems, but it gives me this unique perspective of dealing with it for 4 characters and now not dealing with it. Um, all of my characters, and I did buy the 7 and 8 materials
yep,
so that I could get them up. All of my characters are now 85, having only the Zarek materials from Inquisitor Barris and the Maul event.
yep,
You you don't those earlier marquees will maybe give you more era currency, but Zarek materials, if you want a 7 star character, are not your limiting factor.
yeah,
They just
yeah,
feel like the limiting factor early on. It's going to be those tier 8 materials that legitimately have to be purchased because you're not
yeah,
getting them at all from any of the marquees. that are going to be the limiting factor that needs to be done. And that's kind of not in everybody's head. That's not in everybody's face right off the bat.
Yeah. And I think if if we really look at why they back or they held back all the Xeric modules until the end, I think they're purposely doing it as a soft gate to keep people out of tier 8 because
Yeah.
if you can start scoring a couple of million points in tier 8, you can actually pile up a ton of era currency really, really
Yeah.
quickly. So, I think right now, if you can score 3 million, which I think anybody who's got kind of an 8 or an 8 level 85 roster at this point, you're able to pull in 1,000 a day.
Yep.
I think is so. It's a soft cap to keep people out of the infinite mode is where it sits on the backside. So don't stress it. It'll come into the backside. People will get there.
Now, the other thing, I think I asked you this last time we recorded, but when you do an era character, or when you do any marquee, you
Yeah,
go the 7-star route, or
I
no,
will. Yeah,
the 7-day route, I should say. Correct.
correct. Yep.
Okay. So what I noticed this time around, and I don't know when they made this change. Maybe I think it was around the beginning of this era, but I happened to notice that now they're selling not just a 1 and a 2 pack for dollars. They're now selling a 3 pack.
Yeah.
So now instead of it being a $135 investment versus a $350 investment, it's a $130 investment versus a $200 investment,
Yeah.
which I did find to be very interesting, for the people who are the biggest spenders, buying the era materials, like the 7 and the 8 materials. It's really made up for in the reduction in cost for them. Uh,
Yeah.
Whereas for you, there's an increase in cost because now
Yeah.
you have to buy that extra stuff on top as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think Maul is worth it. Like what we have seen for
Yeah.
the Maul character, I think he's worth it. It will be interesting to see what the next era character looks like
Hmm.
because it feels a little bit like we're getting it that Maul character to me is a lot closer to a galactic legend, I think, than probably what we normally get out of journey guides.
Yeah.
If we're getting what amounts to five, you know, 5 galactic legends a year this way, like that's really interesting. But
And we already see with the stranger, right? Like on
yeah,
defense, the first day that the stranger came out, everybody was like, "Oh, he sucks on defense," because there are some teams that can take him out. Quad May can take him out. Imperial
yeah,
Troopers, Jedi Master Mace Windu, Lord Vader. None of it is reliable.
no,
None of it is reliable. And when you look at that team without Darth Maul, now put Darth Maul into that
yeah,
team, he is
yeah,
going to be problematic. I had a match last week where I lost 6 times in a row. I lost with Lord Vader. I lost with Quad May. I lost with Jedi Master Mace Windu, with Omicron Qui Gon Jinn, with Imperial Troopers. I lost with everything that we are told, oh, these things would work.
yep,
And then I ended up winning with Treya after 7 times because, of course, that's exactly what happens. But if you look at .gg, none of it is the highest is Lord Vader at like 60%. Darth Maul is
yeah.
going to be scary.
Now I think part of it also is
The Datacrons.
who knows what's real and what's not with these Datacrons right
That's
now.
true.
And look, I'm having a ton of fun with them, uh, but who knows where some of these things sit. I had them only on offense for the last 3 weeks,
Okay.
and I literally for an entire week forgot they do not work against uh, Inquisitors.
Okay.
So took him against Inquisitors. So what happens is he gets Stranger gets Death Mark on him, and then he's dead. Like it's just over
Yeah.
very quickly. And then like, oh, this didn't work great. And then like Friday, do it again. Like, oh yeah, I forgot I shouldn't do that. And then Sunday, oh, no, I did it one more time. So
It's that
like,
goldfish brain.
um, yeah, yeah,
The other thing with that
uh,
team is if you face it, and this is the first time this has ever happened in old traditional Starkiller teams, you were scared of the ult You're like, all right,
Yeah.
if I get to the ult, I'm screwed. And what I've been finding when I fight him is I'll get to the ult and the ult won't kill me. And I'll go, oh, great, now I'm safe. But
Yeah.
because of the datacrons, his next AoE, Starkiller's next AoE just deletes everything. Everything just blows up. Like you think you're safe, he does an
Yeah.
AoE and everybody is gone. And you go, what the fuck just
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
That's been my experience.
Yeah. There's a couple of what? Who was a team that happened on Sunday? And it wasn't a character that I was expecting it to. Like it was one of those characters. Like you do a lot of damage to one character, and then 10% to everybody else, but because you damaged everyone else, like the whole map wipe, and you're like, oh well, I was nervous about this fight until that character. And I think it was like it was the original Padme on a JMK team, and all of a sudden, just like everybody just deleted themselves. I'm like, all right, well, this is over. This was
This
fun.
is done.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is what it is what it is. I actually had the conversation yesterday. I love when I have those matches. You know, you get really frustrated when you have those matches where you lose like four times in a row against
yeah,
different things. You're like nothing's going right. Because at the same time I go, great, now I can just give up. This is wonderful. Now I've only
yeah,
spent 10 minutes being annoyed instead of 50 minutes being annoyed. And then I go and I eat an ice cream, have a beer, and then I forget about it and I'm all happy again.
yeah. So I think to kind of go back and to sum up kind of the way that I'm looking at it. One, um, don't take your characters past the 5-star requirement on Maul or the journey guide character if you're not going to take them all the way up. It's just it's a waste of money and resources.
And 5 star. Look, we don't know how this is going to happen in the future, but that 5 star character, Darth Maul, right now is giving 5 Kyber Lightspeed tokens, which is kind of insane. And I did see someone on Reddit asking yesterday because he had all of them 5 stars except Barris, and he was wondering if it was worth it to spend $30 just because it would give him these 5 Lightspeed
Yeah,
tokens. And a bunch of people were saying like, oh, well, it only gives you 30 shards, so that's not worth it. Of course, that's not worth it. And I had pointed out, I was like, well, you're actually getting 45 shards because you're tiering up, so you're getting
yeah,
more there. But you're also getting 5 tokens that you can
yeah,
use on any character you like. This is
yeah,
actually for $30. If you have the $30 to spend and you're thinking you're doing a cost
yeah,
analysis, that's not actually a bad deal
yeah.
in terms of this game. And
And
we
then
don't
I
know in
think
the future. Like, is that going to happen again?
I think the best way to manage resources going up, again, look at the chapter number, add 2, and that should be kind of in that group of 10. So chapter 1, get your characters into the 30s. Chapter 2, get them into the 40s, and on up. I think that keeps you competitive and it doesn't have you overspend on that.
I think that if I know I didn't really want to talk about era changes, but I think that either in the next era or the era afterwards, CGs is going to actually end up looking at the numbers and realize that 85 to 95, nobody's spending on that.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
in my whaliest whale shards of friends and Discord members, everybody is hitting. If they're at 85, they're hitting in their top 10,
Yeah.
and they're completely fine with that. And I think that they're going to kind of come to realize that they need to condense that down to 85 levels, and then maybe take some of those stat bonuses and disperse them a little bit better, because 80 to 85 sucks. It's no bonus, no
Yeah.
bonus, no bonus, no
Yeah.
bonus. It's not worth it. It's pointless. I get what you're going for. It doesn't feel good at all.
And in the if I told you today, I will if you give me $100, I will let you take one character from R2 to R6.
Yeah.
You would actually die of laughter.
Yes.
Like that's such an easy no in that case. So it's the value is just absolutely not there.
Yeah. And I will go so far as to say, actually, most of my characters are 85 right now, and I left my mall at 80. And a bunch of people noticed that and said, "Why? Maul is the most important character for Coliseum. Why are you leaving him at 80 and doing all of the other ones to 85?" And my rationale was, well, I'm hitting top 10 in Coliseum, so I'm getting my 1,000.
Yeah.
I need all of the others for Darth Maul at 85, so they're important. I'll just use Zetas on Darth Maul. I
Yeah.
I don't
Yep.
care. Like, I have plenty of them, it doesn't matter to me. There's no benefit for me
Yeah.
to take him to 85 for a couple extra damage points if I'm already hitting in the top 10.
Well, and watch them like, oh well, we're gonna add from 85 to 95 is the Omicrons, and I'm like, but again, I'm not paying $100 for an Omicron.
I think most people
Like,
won't, but I do think that it might entice a very small minority of people to say, oh, now there's at least some benefit there. But I would hope that the majority of people won't. And I'm going to predict that within the next two eras, that they reduce that number down to 85. Or they change the cost analysis so that 95 makes sense. Like something will
yeah.
happen there to put it together in the right way.
So yeah, that's my. And again, who knows what happens if they change everything? Further down the road.
Well, they're looking at the numbers, right? That's what it comes down
Yeah.
to. And we're talking about thoughts and feelings and players on Discord and on Reddit and in the game and on Facebook or wherever else they talk about this game. Um, they're talking thoughts and feelings. CG is looking at data. They're looking at numbers.
Yeah.
They're looking at this applied to X or Y applied to Z. That's all they care about, nothing else. And they are going to make their changes based off of what that shows, not based off of a post that I make, not based off of something that somebody says on Facebook in some random Star Wars
Yeah.
Galaxy Heroes Facebook group. They're going to do it based on what those numbers show and what they think they can get away with or what they need to fix because they're not getting away with it.
Now, what's interesting is I actually, because the mall event is back in the game, you'll be able to get mall to 6-star by getting Vader to 6-star. So it's not
Yeah.
so there's I didn't realize I assumed that even with both levels it was going to require 75 or 7-star and 85. So
Oh yeah, you just need
at
like
least
the one character, right? I think until yeah, until the 7-star tier, and then that's the 85. And I will say to finish up on eras though, I have man, Coliseum I really don't have any love for right now. Um and my final point on that is I was doing the ATST today and it's supposed to be fun now because I have all the characters, I have all their kits.
yeah,
The ATST CG, if you listen to a single thing that I say tonight, a single thing, I could wish for world peace. I could wish for billions of dollars. All I wish for is do not give us another boss like the ATST. It is not fun. You do one turn, the ATST does 5 turns. You do a lot of counterattacks, sure, and you do a lot of
yeah,
damage, but then you do a turn, and then the ATST takes 4 more turns. And it's really just watching a little cinematic movie. It's not
yeah.
actually that interesting at all. But my actual point on eras from the beginning, I enjoyed the fact that we are going to be placing 6 characters in 6 different teams, or I guess 7. I
Yeah.
enjoy that. I enjoy that very much. That's one of my favorite things in this game. But my 2 points there are one, the modding thing is still very daunting.
Yeah.
I am terrified of having to mod 7 characters in a short time frame. My monkey brain does not allow me to do smart things like save mods for characters.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough to do that, and most of us are not. But number two, because of the way that this era was designed, I don't know any of their kits because
Yeah.
you said everybody is everybody, every faction is every faction. Good luck. I don't know what
Yep.
any of these characters do based on what and whose leader is where. And when they come to the game, I now have to learn 7 at a time instead of 1 at a time. And it's going to be a very frustrating task.
I have added in the last 3 months, and I keep my mod inventory low. Typically, it's around 70.
Okay.
I am currently sitting on 150 unassigned mods, which what 30, four, we'll call that 42 of them will immediately disappear under new
Yeah.
characters. But I don't know what's there. I have no idea what's in that. I've just been ranking them up, and hopefully the magic happens when I tell the
Hopefully it's
hotkey
the right
tills.
stuff.
Yeah, but uh, they need an answer for that in the
Yeah.
future. And to your point on not knowing the kits, I mean, hopefully that goes away, that we get a little bit of synergy in the next set.
Yeah.
Um, but I I know somebody gives everybody master's training, and I'm going to be really
But it
upset when like
but it becomes
Asajj
like
goes onto a bounty hunter team and it doesn't happen.
right,
You know?
exactly, right? And the other struggle here, and I was talking again with somebody about this yesterday, is when you go into Coliseum, everybody has every kit. And then you go
Yeah,
into era challenges and they don't. So you go from this
yeah,
mode where all of them are cohesive to this mode where none of them are cohesive.
yeah,
And it's this just very jarring effect of, I don't know what's going on.
yeah,
And half of the kits have to do with leaderships that aren't even relevant. And I know we're
yeah,
getting loaned units and that might change things and everything, but it has become daunting. I really think if they change one thing here, though, it's the modding thing. You have to put them in my legacy tab, keep them locked, but let me put mods there.
yeah.
Please let me
Uh,
put mods there.
but do you think that we're really going to get borrowed units in the
I
next
I,
era?
I, I think so. I think we've
Yeah.
given them enough time. You don't think so? Not yet.
We didn't and this might be the segue into Conquest, but we did not get Relic Delta in Conquest.
That is true. So the segue into Conquest obviously is that Conquest started.
Yes. Yeah.
And there has been a lot of changes to Conquest. But to address Relic Delta in Conquest, I actually have a positive spin on that.
Yeah.
So my positive spin on there not being a change to with Relic Delta in Conquest is they did change the relic levels. It is Relic 4, Relic
Yep.
5. They gave us that new data disk, which I don't think solves all of the issues, but it is a step in the right direction. They have given us a couple of new discs that like you were telling me, Weather the Storm, which keeps everybody
Yep.
alive in the beginning. And I think that they are using this particular conquest to test those things to see if it's
Yeah.
enough. So that is my positive spin and that is my hopeful thing. But I wish that they'd communicate that to us and say, hey,
Yeah.
this is why Relic Delta. Because the only people that know that Relic Delta is inactive are people that saw Meathead post about that on the event server.
Uh, look, I know a year ago we'd be joking like, "Hey, CG comes back next week because it's February, or it's
Yeah.
the end of the
And
month."
it would be around now, normally.
And
Yes.
it would be around now, but the look, man, everybody deserves time off,
Yes.
but the world got back to normal on January 5th, and the short little like, "Oh, hey, we're making a fundamental change into data or to Datacrons, and it's coming out with Conquest next week," and no detail behind it, like that didn't sit right well with me. Like this, hey, we're gonna say that there's no Relic Delta and we put it on the event server and we didn't actually put a post out to everybody. And here's why I say that. And I'm being very cautious because it's one thing when I talk about me, but it's other people. I was sitting at my son's wrestling tournament on
Okay.
Saturday next to one of the other wrestlers' moms who I had met once before. And she had this nice, beautiful, giant iPad playing Galaxies of Heroes. And I said, "Hey, I know what that is." And it was clear in a couple of minutes that, well, we've both been playing for 10 years. He does not have the level of engagement with this game that I do. Like, my
You
son's
did,
like,
wait,
"You
hold
tell
up.
you're
You
on
didn't
a podcast?" I'm
introduce
like, "No."
yourself and go on
Yeah,
Pico
yeah,
Burrito?
yeah, yeah. Like, my son's like, "You tell you're on a podcast?" I'm like, "No, I did not do that." Like, all of a sudden, like, that son, that is one day you will learn that is a line, like,
You
you
don't
need to know
cross.
the line before you do
Hmm.
that. And she had no idea about that. It never would have registered. In fact, the funnier piece was she's like, "Oh, I never considered it was actually going into Conquest."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's that we need that information coming out to people so they understand what's there,
Mhm.
not just like, "Oh shit, I forgot to do an update post on Datacrons. Here's what's going into place."
Yes, and
So
even I've said this, and I'm very vocal about this because I play a lot of shitty games for like a month at a time.
yeah,
Even the crappiest of game has a system where any update you can see the patch notes in game, or at
yeah,
least at a bare minimum, a splash screen pops up that says new patch available. click here. And if you click
Yeah.
there, the patch notes are on the web. So at least you can see them instead of just going, oh, I don't know where to find what I
Yeah.
changed or what was changed. In the past,
Uh,
January for Swugga has been like they're coming back around the 20th, so they're going to release one or two irrelevant characters, right? Zori Bliss, the Comeuppance, right? Irrelevant in that there's no greater theme to them. And that
yeah.
worked fine. But when they've given us so much at the end of the year and said, hey, good luck, it is kind of tough to grapple. And I understand
Yeah.
Meathead's busy. I understand that all of the other guys are busy. And I agree, they do need their time off and to spend time with their family. And I'll never take that away from them. But don't put yourself in a position where you feel like you have to do those two different things.
Yeah. It it looked at there's a piece of like, hey, it's awesome. Go take a week away, 2 weeks away. There's another of, hey, we could write this post before we leave.
Hmm.
We could put together like I I came back after shutdown and I was traveling 2 days later to go see a customer. I built all of that, like the talk track and the content and all those pieces the week before I left for vacation so that it was there when I came back. Like
Yeah.
that's the piece that I after what I thought was a good year of communication, it was disappointing of what we've seen in the last 2 weeks.
I would agree. I do. I would say, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but if I were to look at a 1 to 10 scale of where I am on the game as a whole in terms of everything, not to give exact numbers because I don't know what they are, um, but it definitely trended upward starting 2025, going into the summer, even though pirates weren't really my thing, but it was still cool content. And right around the beginning of the year, my school year, so around September, is where I started to feel like that was declining a lot because of
Yeah,
communication issues around Relic Delta, communication issues around this stuff with the new eras. And I think in terms of communication, there's been a lot of misfires. And I really do hope that we see a return to form on that communication going into 2026 so that I can, feel proud isn't the right word. Proud is a stupid word, but so that I can feel proud of the game that I play.
yeah,
But on Conquest, so there's a lot, right? Relic Delta's not active.
right.
We have the training droids data disk that we talked about last episode that we kind of incorrectly surmised that you could kill the leader. You cannot kill any of them, which is fine. We're wrong. We fact checked ourselves. That's
Yep.
great. Some people can be correct or incorrect. Uh, New teams are available. I don't know what you saw,
Yes.
but I saw Kelleran Beck. I saw Grand Moff Tarkin. I saw Captain Athano. I think those are the three that I saw. Did you happen to see anything else?
I saw about some new bounty hunter mixes.
The
It's still
Forlom and
the same.
Zuckus. Yeah.
Yep, Forlon and Zuckus, and there was another. I don't remember who the leader was, but there was another bounty hunter lead. But it was. I don't think it was. They were in there, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. Because I know that when I saw the leader, I'm like, oh, this won't be that bad. And then I was like, why are they not dying? I'm like, oh yeah, because they all had that stupid 9 piece hit point
Yeah.
shield on.
And it's basically the
Yeah,
same. Like it doesn't look like there's any new buff because when I saw Athano was the first new one I saw, and I looked at it, and it looked like it was one step ahead, which is I think a rebel buff, but it's been changed to a smuggler
okay.
buff. So none of the teams seemed overtly any harder than usual in that regard, but it was interesting to see new teams available. The bonus nodes have changed, which
Um,
is interesting.
yeah,
I, I don't know how I
they
feel
they.
about it.
I like the new ones. Um, they did not change the boss node, the end node in Sector 4, so you're still fighting those stupid
Oh
Geonosians
my god.
on 4. Um,
That's the one that I would love to have changed.
yes. Well, because that's the one that everyone spends so much time on. It's just like,
Yes.
look, it's like 1 and 4 are the two that everyone spends time on, and that was
Well,
that was not there, so I'm a little disappointed.
so that's the thing, right? Like when you're not simming because you're still doing or
Yeah.
fee acquisition at the end, you're usually on 4, and it sucks because TM trained teams suck.
Yep.
And you can't just use Inquisitors or just use LV. No, because I'm doing feed acquisition.
Yes.
So that one I kind of would have liked to have changed. The reason I don't like that the Sector 1-1 was changed is because that was a bad batch node with no overpowered. I
Yeah.
have a 14.5 million account. I have everything in the game. I'm fine. I can handle it great. I think that that is going to have a negative reaction on players who are a little bit lower and who are trying
Fair
to
enough.
farm on a Datacron node. They're going to struggle with this new team that's there, which I think, if I remember correct, is me. I think it's Tarkin. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure, but I think it's Tarkin. Tarkin clones.
It's Tarkin clones, then it's Huck's First Order, and the last one is that same bounty hunter team that's
And
going on.
and
Which
the second and third nodes suck. They're crap.
yeah,
So they were thrown in there
the,
as like you can't do well in Conquest, so we're gonna let you get a little bit.
yeah, yeah. The nice part about that bounty hunter team, though, especially if you need a lot of like single character X does Y,
Yeah.
especially like kill a bunch of characters with X if it's in a global feat, because 3 of the characters revive. You actually, if you do it right, you can typically be at 8 on that. Was the
Yeah,
only thing
yeah.
that I like about that bounty hunter node, but uh, and yeah, and it looks like Sector 5 is still that same stupid Yoda team that's been around forever as well as I'm looking through these.
So they,
Um,
they just changed the easy ones. They
yeah, they
and
just changed
not
the
that that
easy
was
ones. Yeah,
hard. It just was annoying because they're so fast.
yeah,
I don't know if it's just this conquest. I don't know how you feel about it. I have been blowing through the sectors. I have been blowing through so fast between
yeah,
having I got lucky. I got 2 zealous ambition really quickly. So I'm doing some really silly things with my survival feats where I'm
yep,
throwing Leia and Captain Rex with like SM-33, Forlom, and Zuckuss
yeah.
just because I can. Um, and Captain Rex just deletes everything on the board.
Yeah.
Uh, but I have had no problems.
So this is an interesting topic because we were talking about this today in the
Yeah.
ODB Discord. Is Conquest getting easier, or are the wider rosters making feat acquisition easier just in the course of clearing the board, which speeds up overall Conquest, making it feel faster?
I think, you and I have endgame rosters. So obviously, anything that is in Conquest, we have an answer for.
Yep.
Um, I also think that traditionally, if you looked back 9 months, the typical conquest, a sector was something like win with X surviving,
Yep.
2 debuff feats, or buff and a debuff feat, and kill this many characters with this
Yep.
specific faction. We are seeing a lot more survival feats. We're seeing a lot more feats that are not you have to sit here and grind a battle, which I think time wise has made Conquest a lot faster for me
Yeah.
because I can go into a battle and say, okay, I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And all of the evasion up, evasion down, all of that stuff, that's all in the globals. So I don't have to worry as much about that. So I think that it has gotten easier for me in that sense. I have seen some people ask if this conquest was harder, who are more in the 6, 7, 8 million range. There is a lot of
Yep.
newer stuff here. Gungans is not new, but it's newer if you're a mid game roster. Pirates is newer. Um, so I think it's probably just our wider rosters that are making it seem so much easier because we don't have to think as much.
It, it is so like one of the things as I'm thinking about this. So win with X character surviving it. Typically, that's 10 battles.
Yeah.
And again, I think a year ago, maybe 18 months
14.
ago, that would have one would have been, you're right, it would have been 14. And the other is it would have been a character that you had to leave on a team, like on their team, which meant like the best you could hope to do was maybe 5 in a day,
Yeah.
3 to 5 in a day, which means it was going to take you 2 to 3 days to get it done. And now, and part of that was because you also just needed that many teams to get through Conquest.
Mhm.
Now there are so many teams, like you can do um, what was it? I did. Hang on, I'm going to look this up because it was one of these that just kind of blew my mind. It was in Sector 4. Um, yeah, it was the crosshair feat. So, and I
Okay.
I had used crosshair on, like, there was a requirement for some bad batch stuff. I used all of my stamina regens to get crosshair back up to 100%, so I could do 10 battles.
Mhm.
And I put him with that second wind disc so that he wouldn't die. And then it was Treya, Treya, Nihilus, two tanks, and Crosshair, and went to the Geo node and watched them kill themselves over. So it was a ZA node, but and it was a case like that. That's flexibility that's now in the roster. That, like, now, one, you can bleed a character all the way down
Mhm.
to 0% stamina because I don't need his team to carry him through. Like, the roster is strong enough that four random Sith can carry this guy through this mission and get him, 8 nodes, and then it just speeds up the amount of time that it takes to get through everything.
And it's generally the better way to do it, right? When I do like a conquest guy and I go, oh, like I might use because I have Bad Batch, they're all R7. It's great. I could use a full R7 Bad Batch team, and I
Yeah,
will for 2 to 3 battles. But it's not a team that does very well once you hit
yeah,
70% stamina. So I'm throwing them with a GL just
yeah,
to get it done, just to finish it up, just to go through it a lot quicker. And it is the easier way to do it when you have
yeah,
multiple GL to kind of switch through and go through. And then you look at like discs like Weather the Storm, where you can't die unless they've taken a turn. And you had kind of said this to me earlier. You have a crosshair at 10%. He's not taking a turn.
yeah,
He's never getting
yeah.
a turn. So it doesn't matter. He's not going to die. And it is really neat. But the other side of that is I feel like those purple discs are so rare that it's not something that you can rely on.
Right.
And I almost wish that they would sell. I don't need it and I wouldn't buy it, but I almost wish for like $20 they would sell all the purple discs that are in this conquest.
Yeah,
Extra $20, you can have all of these discs that you can find. We haven't lowered their
right.
drop rates, and just let the people who want to spend money get through it as quick as possible.
You want to sell more of the higher end battle pass? Put that in the battle
But
pass.
more of
Look,
that.
look. I would buy the higher level battle pass just for access to second win because, again, it was just, you could just run characters through things. Like, it
Yeah.
just didn't matter
You
anymore.
don't
Or
have to
even,
think.
yeah, there are certain scenarios where certain teams lose because you remove someone off of it, like from the faction, they lose all of their synergy altogether. But now, and again, if you can do it with a ZA or something like that,
Beautiful.
like, now it doesn't matter because I need to get to Kix's turn, and Kix is at
Yes.
10% stamina as well, and he throws the bomb and wipes
And then
everybody off
everybody
the map. And
dies.
yeah,
That's all I
yeah,
used to have a whole shopping list. I'm like, all right, I want leaders resolve, I want zealous ambition, I want a fortified, I want an empowered, I want a ruthless swiftness. Now I have 2 zealous ambition. I'm good. I don't need anything
yeah,
else. I don't need anything
yeah,
else.
yeah,
I have those. I'm great. Now
yeah,
in the past, because there was so many debuff and buff feats, I would force myself not to put zealous ambition or like amplify agony on, because I'd get to like sector 3 and it'd be like, do 300 purge. I'm not
yeah,
getting 300 purge with 2 zealous ambition on because they're just
yeah,
all dying. Um,
yeah,
so I do kind of like this change because I don't have to worry about what disc I have on as much. I don't have to feel like I'm nerfing my own ability to do feats
yeah.
anymore if there's a change like that.
Do you want to know what I learned yesterday? And I might have be the last person to actually figure this out. But So the Kenobi Omicron
Okay.
only works if he's above 50% stamina.
Yes.
I have always thought it was the team had to be above 50% stamina. So yesterday, I think it was in sector one. There was a debuff thing that I needed, and I ran him down to 50%.
Okay.
And then I got into another section and I needed something, and I'm like, wait a minute, I can go and I now on the treasure nodes, I buy stamina things because as I'm trying to get done as quickly as possible.
Hmm.
So I bought I spent 20 card, keychains or key cards or whatever they are for a medium stamina piece. He was at By this point he was at 51%, which means I got four more battles and I ran that team down to 10% because it doesn't matter for them. It only matters that he was up over that. All of a sudden I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, now he's now infinitely more usable, like from that perspective.
For you, because
For me, yeah, yeah. For
because
again, you need relics underneath him. Like you need relics underneath him to
yeah,
make that
yeah.
happen.
That's okay.
But
I'm still learning things too. I
yeah,
actually was saying yesterday that I just learned that if you go into the roster view and you check mark the mods thing, and then
yeah.
you go into their roster, it actually saves the mod filters in between changing characters, so that
Oh, interesting.
oh, did you just learn that now too? See, I just learned it a
Yes,
few
I
days
did.
ago.
Yeah,
So because I would go in and I'd change mods and I'd do my downline and I'd be like, this is really freaking annoying that it doesn't save it and I have to keep going back to the filter. And every once in a while, it would save it. And I'm like,
yeah,
why? Why is it saving it sometimes and not other times? If you check the mod box, it will save it
yeah.
between characters. So you just learned something too. I just figured
I
that
did,
out.
and I'm just hitting this over and over again. I'm like, yes, it's just
You
showing
go,
that one bot again.
wow, this is great. This is going to save me. No, it won't because I use hot utils. Um,
Yeah.
but it'll save everybody else so much time. What do you think though? I'm curious. Maybe you didn't think about this, but I have just because of what I had said before about Relic
Yeah.
Delta. Do you think, if my hypothesis is correct, do you think that we're going to get an entire season of no Relic Delta, or do you think that next Conquest that they'll say, all right, we tested everything, it's good, now we're going to just put it in?
I think we're getting an entire season without Relic Delta.
You think a whole season? Okay.
I'll, I'll be honest with his. Of course, I'll be honest. I'm actually talking like I would. I got to stop that qualifier. I with as little of with the small impact that Relic Delta seems to be having on PvE.
Hmm.
I don't care if they bring Relic Delta into Conquest. What I want are more mods like they have here that are designed to allow me to be done faster.
Yeah.
And the feat mix that they have right now, like this level of engagement on the feat mix, to me is more impactful than especially again with the change to datacrons and the shorter window to actually interact with datacrons. You need to be able to get to farming if you actually want to farm a number of them from that side.
I will say that in every conquest, there's always one or two feats that I think are stupid.
Yes.
Usually it is evade 100 times in one sector. Last time it was in the general, and I'm totally fine with
Yeah.
it being in the general because over five sectors, 200 fair.
Yep.
Win with only tanks. I can do it. It takes forever. It's
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world. This conquest, the one feat that annoys the hell out of me is do kills with any Han Solo.
Oh, that was super easy.
I know it's easy.
Yeah.
It's completely easy. Here's my JML. I know I do the same thing, but here is my reasoning. Every other kill feat, in theory, you can use a whole team, and you can say, all right, Gungan kills, use Gungans. Phoenix kills, use
Yeah.
Phoenix. You're not putting five Hans together. So you either have to micromanage that battle or you have to cheese it. And if you tell me that you put five Hans together, I'm going to be pissed.
Leia and four Hans.
And just like auto basic.
And, well, then what I did was again, because from the I had the uh, booming voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So then every time she took a turn, 4 Hans came in behind her and actually just wiped whatever was off the map.
Okay, interesting. Interesting, because you went back.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So
I
I
might
passed
save
through
the
that
rest of the.
one, picked up that, and then cycled back through it because I needed to farm Datacrons. So
Yeah,
that was an
yeah.
easy one to farm Datacrons.
I might save the rest of that feat and do it that way. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
But that
super easy.
that's why I don't like it. Is I
Yeah,
feel like it has to be cheesed. There's just no other because you're only like if you do like CLS team, you're only getting maybe one or two per
yeah.
battle. Like it just feels annoying to me. I get like
The
it's clever, it's fun, it's silly, but don't like it.
the the other is make sure you've got your VAs on and bring Fuzzy Hat Han because he is a healer.
Okay, yeah,
So he gets Zealous Ambition bonus on
and then
that
just
side because
blows
all the
things
other
up.
ones are, yeah.
Attackers
The ones I hate,
or tanks.
honestly, this was the worst. By the right of the council, the 20 battles with Keller and back, and like, are
Yeah,
you kidding me? Like, you really want me to do this over 3 days? No, I don't have time for this. This is a waste.
I will say that you're in the minority because most people don't do conquest over 2 days, but
Yes, fair enough.
I don't understand that.
Yeah,
That's kind of what makes the conversation interesting, right? Is that we have different
yeah,
reasons for these things. Because for me, I go, all right, I'm going to throw Keller and Beck with JMK. Then I'm going to throw Keller and Beck with Leia. Then I'm going to throw
yeah,
Keller and Beck with Jabba. I don't care.
yep.
I'm just throwing Keller and Beck wherever in a fifth
Got to get
slot
done. Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
Doesn't matter to me. That's what I've been doing. Um, I we got one more thing. We have a Vader kit,
yep.
and I think if we do this right, we will have gone from our longest episode ever to our shortest episode ever. And as sad as that will be in terms of I like our conversations, it is also interesting to me to do that.
It's fun bookends. Let's call it what it
It
is.
is.
It's fun bookends.
It is fun bookends.
Yeah,
So we have one more thing. No interesting segue. It's just it is in the intro. It is in the title of the episode. So we can't skip Vader as much as he's just another Vader.
yeah.
We have to go through the kit. How is your voice tonight? Would you like to read
But
it? Do you want me to
I
read it?
I will read it. I am in shape to do this today.
Okay.
Um, we are going to skip design notes, inspirations, and synergies, and all of those pieces. We'll do this as a straight kit read. So basic ability. Then you will. So what? He's an attacker. He's Empire. He's also Sith, and he is intended to go with uh, Palps, Mara Jade, Royal Guard, Tarkin, and Vader as kind of the team that they laid out. Tarkin, we'll see if he makes sense long term, but I think the other four will probably stay put. Um, so basic, then you will die. Deal physical damage to target enemy, and during Darth Vader duel ends turn, ability block them and inflict evasion down for 2 turns. If the target enemy is dazed, shocked, or stunned, reduce Vader's cooldowns by 1, and he gains 100% offense for 1 turn.
So it's going to be very likely, right, between Palpatine and Mara Jade that we're going to have a stun or a daze. So there's probably a lot of
Yep.
cooldown reduction in the team.
Yeah. It's also, as we go through this, remember that he is supposed to be a Marquee plus.
Yes.
So this is like the Great Mothers where they get
Two
two
Omicrons.
Omicrons.
That's it.
Is that what it is? So he's supposed
I
to be a
think
little
that's what a
bit better.
marquee plus is. Two
Yeah,
Omicrons. It's just their
yeah.
way of selling us an extra Omicron. You know what would be
Yeah,
really nice here is animations. It'd be so
yes,
great if
they
we had
would
the
be.
if we
Yeah,
had the animations.
yeah. Which, yeah, I don't think to this date we still know what his animations look like. Uh, Special ability 1, your weakness still remains, which is a cooldown of 3. Deal physical damage to target enemy twice, and then call the strongest other ally attacker to assist. If the target enemy is Galactic Republic, Inquisitorius, or Jedi, Darth Vader duels end also assists. This ability will always critical hit if possible. So
So an attacker is assisting And
Yep.
under certain conditions, Darth Vader Duel's End is basically attacking twice, right? Doing his
Correct.
special and doing his
Correct.
basic. So with the special, presumably against Inquisitorius, Jedi, or Galactic Republic, he's also getting extra cooldown reduction.
Correct.
Or is that
Yes.
only no? Is that only on his turn? And then during if the target enemy is target enemy
Yeah.
during block them. No, that's a separate thing. If the target enemy is dazed, shocked, or stunned, reduce Vader's cooldowns by 1. So
Yeah.
that's separate from the only. Okay, so extra cooldown reduction.
So the problem is there are no attackers that apply dazed, shocked, or stunned on basic.
No, there isn't. But when you open, like, I don't know how fast Vader is, but Mara Jade is fast as hell.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she
Fair.
is
Fair
going
point.
to apply these things like
Yep.
with her special very fast.
Or Palpatine because he's a Sith. He'll probably have had a chance to get a shock out or something
Yeah,
similar to that. So, um, so special ability 2, you will always lose cooldown 6. It is a Zeta and an Omicron. Dispel buffs on all enemies and deal physical damage to them, dealing 50% more damage for each debuffed enemy. If the enemy is shocked or stunned, they take another instance of damage. Then inflict all enemies with speed down for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or prevented. And they lose 100% accuracy for 1 turn, which can't be evaded.
interesting.
Does that mean they're blind
So I was
effectively?
gonna ask, does this make is this like I guess it's blind, but tenacity up doesn't like if you
Yeah.
have tenacity up, you still dodge or you still can't hit
Yeah.
unless it's a hit that can't miss, which blind also wouldn't work.
What's funny about this is watch Jedi Master Kenobi always hits with his first special when this one goes on.
Never.
uh, yeah. Enemies are inflicted with buff immunity for 2 turns. This ability can't be resisted. That's really nice. While in Grand Arena, if Emperor Palpatine is in the allied leader slot, fracture target enemy and another random enemy until the start of Darth Vader's duel end next turn, or until Vader is defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded. Vader can't gain bonus turn meter this turn.
Interesting.
Okay.
So 2 fractures.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Which is why part of me thinks that Thrawn is going to end up on this team.
But can you do another fracture?
Yes.
You can.
Because Leia fractures the entire team with her ultimate.
No, but that's like one attack. Like if another character fractures, will it cause the other fracture? DG. We're gonna find out. I just feel
Yeah,
like fracture is supposed to be unique because I was thinking the same thing. Um, no, yeah, it looks like you can and inflict
yeah.
fracture. Fracture on characters, speed set to 0. Yes. So yeah, so when you said fracture, my first thought was Thrawn is going to go onto this team.
Yeah. Now I can fracture 3 characters.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
I'm wondering if because Palpatine, there's so much extra bonus turn meter between Mara Jade and Palpatine, but now Vader can't gain bonus turn meter.
Yeah.
Are you going to run him slow? Because he's going to get turn meter to get to his turn.
Yeah.
And then he fractures, and now 2 enemies, possibly another with Thrawn. Because Thrawn's whole thing is he fractures, but then with like ebb and flow, if you do specials, he like doesn't get turn meter, or he loses turn meter, or some crap like that. To make it so that the fracture lasts longer. My first thought is maybe you're running Vader slow so that you can keep this character, these 2 characters, kind of destroyed for a longer amount of time.
Um, man, it would be great if CG let us have multi-filter in their stupid filtering tool.
It would be nice.
Yeah. Tarkin the support as well. Um, I was thinking if Tarkin was an attacker and he would counter, all of a sudden that counter for his mass damage would go up. Yeah, uh, 6 turn cooldown, double fracture is nice.
And remember that
If,
6 turn
if
cooldown on basic,
yes,
his
we'll go
cooldown
down as well.
is possibly being reduced depending on, what happens with Mara Jade and Emperor Palpatine.
Yep.
So if you open the battle with, well, I guess you won't open the battle depending on your speeds, but if this is his first turn, then he does his special after that, and he gets a cooldown reduction from also doing his basic, depending on
Yep.
who his target is, depending on if it's against a favorable team. And then he goes into a basic, he's got another cooldown reduction right there.
Yep. This is important because it's a little different than the way they say this. The ability calculates the number of enemies with at least one debuff is how this works. So it's not the total number of debuffs on the table.
Yes,
The example they give here is that if 3 characters are debuffed and Vader uses this ability, he picks up or the ability deals 150% of extra damage, not
per
one per
debuff.
every instance of those debuffs that Mara put on the character. So
Okay.
um, for the most part, straightforward kit. Let's get to unique one.
Oh boy.
Settle in, folks. Um, I am what remains, which is an Omicron. At the start of battle, Darth Vader Duel's End loses 51% health and is inflicted with burning until the end of battle, which
Love
can't be
it.
copied, dispelled, or prevented. Vader can't be defeated by this burning, is immune to other burning effects, and takes reduced damage from percent health effects. At the start of battle, if there are no galactic legends, when Vader takes burning damage, all Empire allies gain 20% offense, stacking to a max of 300 until the end of battle, and 10% turn meter. This effect persists through defeat. If Vader ends his turn with 25% or more health, all Empire allies gain potency up for 1 turn. If Vader ends his turn with 75% or less health, all Empire allies gain defense up for 1 turn. So if he's between 25 and 75% health, everybody gets potency up and everyone gets
Defense
defense
up.
up.
Which is where he's going to
All right.
start, because he's going to start at
Yep.
49% health.
Yep. So at the start of battle, if Emperor Palpatine is in the ally is the ally in the leader slot, Vader gains hatred until he is defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented, and assists when Emperor Palpatine uses a special ability during his turn, and whenever Emperor Palpatine assists during another ally's turn. So Mara makes a move, Palpatine assists, Vader assists, cooldown.
Yes.
If hang on, I have a question on that in a second. If
Okay.
Vader is revived while Emperor Palpatine is in the active ally is the active ally in the leader slot, Vader regains hatred at the end of that turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. While in Grand Arena at the start of battle, if there are no galactic legends and Emperor Palpatine is in the allied leader slot, all Empire allies gain hatred until they are defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Whenever an Empire tank ally loses taunt, they are marked for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted, and recover 30% max health and protection. Vader gains 4 speed, stacking a max of 80 until the end of battle. Whenever an Empire ally targets a debuffed enemy with an ability, takes damage from an enemy ability while debuffed, or scores a critical hit.
That is a mouthful.
Uh, that is a mouthful. So if
I think I know what your
Vader
question
only
is.
Vader only assists on his on the second ability. So it's not a scenario where yeah, okay. So Mara Jade shoots a bad guy.
Okay.
Palpatine assists, Vader assists.
Hmm.
If you use your second or your first special, Vader attacks, Mara attacks, Vader attacks, Palpatine attacks, Vader attacks.
So I guess this is not the question that I thought you were going to ask. So You're saying that there's going to be a hell of a lot of assists.
Yes.
Okay, so
Vader, if I understand that, Vader would attack would assist twice on that.
at the start of battle, if Emperor Palpatine is the ally in the leader slot, Vader gains hatred, blah blah blah, and assists when Emperor Palpatine uses a special ability during his turn,
Mhm.
and whenever Emperor Palpatine assists during another ally's turn. So if Vader attacks, Mara Jade attacks because she's an attacker.
Yep.
Vader attacks again under certain conditions,
Yes.
right? Under specific conditions. Um, and then Palpatine would attack. So that Mara, I guess. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. I guess. I, is the
Yeah.
that doesn't seem like that's in the FAQ. What is a
Okay.
frequently asked
So
question?
here's looking at Mara Jade. If Emperor Palpatine is the leader, he assists if it's Mara Jade's turn. Otherwise, a random ally with useful pawn assists, dealing 50% less damage. So on that special, Palpatine doesn't assist Mara. It's only if it's on her turn.
But somebody will
Somebody
because
will.
of
Yes.
useful pawn.
Yeah. Correct.
So if Emperor Palpatine is in the leader slot, Emperor and Sith allies have whatever. Otherwise, all other Darth. Okay, so they all get useful pawn. Okay, so it'll just
Yeah.
be a. All right. Okay, so it'll be. But now my other thing here is the revive. If Palpatine is the leader, then Vader keeps reviving, but it says active leader. So I guess the implication is that Palpatine has to die,
Yes.
right? So you
Yes.
have to kill Palpatine first or have a non-revive something.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
So there's a second unique.
Okay.
Unique 2. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did, which is a Zeta. At the start of each encounter, whenever he takes burning damage or when he uses an ability, Darth Vader Duel's End gains 1 stack of vengeance until the end of battle or until he
Is
is defeated.
vengeance is what Lord Vader has?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Uh,
You keep
when
reading. I'll
Vader
look.
loses when Vader loses 15 stacks of vengeance or more, he gains 2 additional bonus turns. And the next time he damages an enemy, the targeted enemy is death marked until the end of Vader's bonus turn or Vader is defeated. Uh, if he's getting defeated on that, that is a hell of a counter. Vader can ignore taunt effects during his turn. Whenever Vader uses a special ability, the target enemy is inflicted with a stack of damage over time for 1 turn, which can't be evaded. This ability afflicts an additional stack if the targeted enemy is Galactic Republic, Inquisitorius, or Jedi, and another stack if it is an Anakin Skywalker.
Okay.
At the start of battle, if there is an enemy Anakin Skywalker, they are inflicted with Demoralized for the rest of the battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, prevented, or resisted. And if they are in the enemy leader slot, all Empire allies are immune to daze for the rest of battle, and Vader can't be targeted while there is another Empire ally.
Okay.
That's just Anakin Skywalker. Okay, all right. If all allies are Empire at the start of battle, Vader gains 50% critical damage, is immune to fear and turn meter reduction. Uh, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay, this matters. This is
Okay.
what characters count as Anakin Skywalker. General Skywalker, Jedi Knight Anakin, and Padawan Anakin count as Anakin Skywalkers for this ability.
Okay.
Darth Vader Dual End, and Lord Vader's are not Anakin Skywalker, which is true from a certain point of view.
Okay.
And
So not Vader, just characters literally
correct.
labeled Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And now I want to correct myself because I did look while you were reading. Lord Vader has underestimated, not vengeance.
Good.
Vengeance, as far as I see from the wiki, it looks like it's just on Tie Dagger.
So the question is how do you lose? Vengeance is the thing that you get. Actually, you get 15 of them on tie dagger,
So at 15
and then it
stacks,
goes.
dispel all debuffs on all Sith allies, gain a bonus turn, then lose all stacks.
Okay,
Is this
so
the same vengeance?
yeah, so this makes more sense.
Okay.
Um, so keeping that in mind, let's go back to that first paragraph because this will make a
Okay.
little bit more sense. At the start of each encounter, blah blah blah, or uses an ability, Vader gains one stack of vengeance until the end of battle or until he is defeated. When Vader loses 15 stacks of vengeance or more, he gains two additional bonus turns.
So he'll get
And the
3
next
bonus
time,
turns.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And the next time he damages an enemy, the targeted enemy is death marked until the end of Vader's bonus turn or Vader is defeated.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Wow.
what my question there is that bonus turn death mark die, bonus turn death mark die, or is it you just get one death mark out of the three bonus turns?
Vader loses. He gains 2 additional bonus turns, and the next time he damages an enemy, it sounds like it's you get 1 death mark. Because
Yeah,
it seems like after the 2 bonus turns, the next damage he does is a death mark.
yeah, yeah.
So I
That's
do think that that's one.
so. What I like about this kit is it's got a little bit of the original Darth Vader in it.
Yeah.
It's got a little feels like it's got a little bit of Lord Vader in it
Hmm.
with like the marked for the tanks. Um,
You have the nods to
you know,
Obi-Wan with
yeah,
burning.
yeah. And it's still got like the hey, you're gonna get multiple turns because sometimes Vader just gets multiple turns type
Yeah.
element. It'll be a fun kit.
It's gonna bring this
Uh,
back into the I think like the B plus A minus meta.
yeah,
It's gonna be one of those annoying defense teams that you're like, oh crap, I gotta use a no revive team to get rid of this fast.
yeah.
And then your
Uh,
Treya and your General Anakin are completely, and it looks like there's anti Anakin synergy in there, so it's Treya.
yeah. Look, there is only one Trey Nihilus on the map at any point in time, so
It
that just
sucks.
makes things that much easier. So
It sucks because it is a team that gets used. I call it my Swiss Army knife.
yeah,
And it's a team that I have lost battles trying not to use them, knowing I'll need them later on.
yeah. But by the way, so no, okay, so there's all kinds of. So I made the mistake of searching for 300%. I believe there is something that gives 300% potency, is what I saw
Is that
in
the
there
in this kit or in because that's a
in this
Tarkin
kit.
gets. I don't know if it's 300. There was potency up.
It was potency up. Okay, that's what
Yes.
it was. Um, so potency up, which means you're not going to resist the
Yeah.
stun, the AE stun, and then eventually Tarkin's going to be able to use it and do some of the damage. So
But I know what you
uh,
mean when you say you made the mistake. It's because there's 6 kits in here and you hit type in potency and you're going through all of the kits and going, I don't,
yeah,
this doesn't work for me. You know what they
yeah. And if
should
you
have
look
done
for
is they should have given us links to all of them in this one post and then all have them separate posts. Meathead, come on, get on board.
yeah, but look, that's hard when you just Command A, Command C, Command V into a post on the message boards.
Yeah.
You don't
It's
have to break it up that way. You can just write it once and paste it a million times.
I know. It's just I'm trying to think of it logistically from a helping out the people who support the
Yeah,
game by, being friendly to all of those people. I look, I think the kid is cool. Again, it's more a function and a frustration of having so many of these kits coming out at once
yeah.
and having to learn so many teams at once and having to mod so many teams at once, but I do think that the kid is cool. I am excited to use him next week, even though the situation is going to be, there's a lot of Mara Jade not Mara Jade. There's a lot of Palpatine call outs, which kind of function off of Mara Jade, and we're not going to see that in Coliseum. Um,
Yeah.
so we will find out, and I hope he's as cool as he looks.
He is a slower attacker. His base speed is 159.
Yeah, I think people are going to want to run him on the slower side, at least if you're thinking about for GAC. But I'm
Yeah.
also not a modding expert, so don't come at me in the comments because I don't know. I use .gg. Um, it just to me screams go a little bit on the slower side, get those fractures out, and control the board.
It also don't correct me if I'm wrong because it's been so long since I've used Mara and Palpatine together. Mara generates TM for Palpatine because of all the debuffs. Is
It
that
has something to
correct?
do with the debuffs. Like the amount of
Yeah.
debuffs, it's like 1.25% TM per debuff gets kind of gained to her, but then it's also given to Palpatine as well. So it's a whole thing.
And then he has all right. When an Empire ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they gain 20% turn meter. When a Sith ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they recover 20% health. So yeah, so it's not the reason why they do that in special too is because they don't want Vader getting 100% turn meter coming off of that ability. Is probably what's
Yeah.
going on. So for some reason, I was thinking Palpatine, his that debuff piece cascaded from other characters. So yeah, um,
We'll
I
be
don't know.
good.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
All right. Well, we will find out. We'll see in next week. We'll see in a week the bones of the kit and whether it works or not, and we'll find out. I think it's 3 weeks before the era ends. Um, with that said, I don't know if we necessarily hit our smallest episode ever because I don't meticulously track runtimes. I just know the ish of it all. We're right around where we should be. I've got nothing else to say. I don't know if you have any last words for the people out there.
I got nothing, man.
All right. Well, then I hope everybody has a great morning, noon, night, whatever time of day you happen to be listening to this. And please do me a favor. I want my spot. No, we want our sponsorship deal. I know Pico is all on HelloFresh. Goodbye, Spoil.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
would really like Tushy Bidet to reach out to me and respond to my emails. Just send them some emails and be like, hey, we heard from you, heard about you from Zeta Protocol, and they're going to say, who's Zeta Protocol? And you know exactly what to do at that point. So, with all
Yeah.
of that said, peace out and have a great rest of your night.